And we are back. I tell you, I'm technically challenged. Definitely technically challenged. This is, not the finest way to start things, but good morning anyway, and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. It is Tuesday and, another day in which how do you explain what goes on or what comes out of Pennsylvania Avenue? Um, let's see. The Pentagon refuses to promote women and black folks again. We keep seeing that on a regular basis, and it just gets no outrage from Black MAGA as we talk about, and hardly even makes a blip on the screen of Democrats now too. But it keeps going and going. Um, and again, you want folks like Chile and the rest of, these MAGAs of color to explain themselves. Explain, 'cause, love to hear y'all sit down and have a rational conversation about it. See, they've never had a rational conversation about it either. They get into these yelling matches and stuff, so they don't have to. then or they'll say something stupid and continue to say something stupid. "Oh, well, Republicans freed the slaves." What they gotta do with this administration? As they say, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? But yet they will, you know, continue. They try to be the lesser Clarence Thomas. They don't wanna be seen as Clarence Thomas, but they're just as bad. They're just as bad. They just don't have the power he has. They may have some influence, like, that sort of, matches his power, but ultimately, he makes sure that these, cases go through that are very detrimental to people of color. Then they see stuff like this, with the vaccine situation and who you have, this idiot conspiracy theorist that's running this. Doctors around the country say they are seeing more cases of serious, sometimes life-threatening illnesses that vaccines have long kept at bay, including whooping cough, bacterial infections, that can cause pneumonia or meningitis, among other things. The concern among doctors comes on the heels of a resurgence of measles nationwide. The measles outbreak. And let's not even get into Ebola, which they say now is seems to be headed this way to America. But now this distrust in vaccines, those folks during the pandemic, and now, of course, RFK, um, continues to stoke the distrust. But public health experts have long seen measles as a harbinger. It is so exceptionally contagious. It can be the first disease to spike as vaccination rates continue to decline and a sign of more to come. This is according to health experts. Um, the data, this is the thing, nationwide data is now showing clear and substantial increases in recent years. And then doctors are saying that the public statistics that are available don't even show how severe this is. And they say, well, and then you got the RFKs, children will recover. But the doctors say some of these infections can be fatal. And many children, they have to endure like long hospitalizations. Of course, many young parents today have never seen a child with measles or polio or a severe whooping cough because of the vaccinations. But now you see the vaccination rates decline because of the conspiracy theories, in part because of the conspiracy theorists. But um, a lot of the doctors are concerned we're going to be headed into a public health crisis. So you're going to again start seeing more cases of measles. You're going to start seeing stuff that you haven't seen, like polio, whooping cough, like they said. Heck, there was some case, believe it or not, of leprosy in Florida. But of course, there's no problem, according to um, health officials who are not obviously not listening to the doctors who are treating or trying to treat this stuff. Ju eh, Well, it appears that the slush fund for in part for the, January 6th convicts is at least, being stalled, if not totally, uh, eradicated, as the president is, reportedly backing off his plan to establish this, $1.8 billion fund to compensate folks who claim they were victims of unfair prosecution by the government. The administration, showed reportedly signaled, I should say, a retreat yesterday when the Justice Department said in a statement that it would abide by a federal judge's temporary order not to proceed with any steps to activate the fund until at least June the 12th. That's when a hearing is scheduled on the fund. The DOJ said the administration disagreed with the decision, but did not make clear whether it intended to fight the issue further in court. And it was reportedly unclear uh, whether getting rid of the fund would affect another part of the legal settlement in this case. Remember, Trump sued the IRS for like $11 billion or 10 something like that, some astronomical figure. It was over his taxes, and this was part of his settlement with his government, to have this basically it's 1.776 million, 1776, uh, as they call it, a weaponization fund. But Republicans, even some Republicans, some key Republicans were pushing back, on this, ability to do that. And you remember the other night, he woke up about 1 in the morning, rage, tweeting or rage posting about this, about Republicans being, unpatriotic. So perhaps that was part of it, I don't know. Don't know, but this fund, of course, folks like and rightfully so, like, what happened to, if you can do this, why haven't you done reparations? Easy answer, right? Easy answer. Well, they are making sure not only not to do reparations, but to make sure to do an end around on all types of revenue for that they believe is going to black folks. Because LSU officials, are now claiming that they never approved the use of their names, titles, or apparent support for a package of federal college sports bills that would dramatically reshape the way college athletes, or college athletics operated. In short, LSU says that lawmakers and bill supporters made it appear that university officials were backing legislation when they had not authorized that support. Now, these bills would give the NCAA and a new national oversight body, they would give them a lot of power over college sports. They would set federal rules for NIL deals. They would limit athlete transfers, provide legal protections to the NCAA against certain lawsuits. They would regulate sports agents and create nationwide standards that would override many state laws. You see where it's going. You know what all of that means. They talking about, "Oh, this bill is gonna bring order. It's gonna bring order to what's become chaotic, a chaotic NIL marketplace." It's chaotic because you got black students and Latino students making money. Y what they deserve. But all it really does is take away, many of the rights and freedoms that athletes recently gained. Now LSU is like, "We didn't sign that. We didn't say we didn't applaud it. We was Yeah, right. You got called out. That's what I believe. You got called out. You thought other, Big Ten, uh, schools would join you. I think Penn State, uh, someone from Penn State signed that letter as well. I just don't see them signing it saying and not you not knowing about it. I don't see signing your name, the LSU president and the board. I don't see that. Um, Orange G says Dixie and McMahon says different. He is a state legislator and the public service announcer for LSU football. I just find that odd that they would circulate this high profile letter and have LSU's president and board signature, board member signature without them okaying it. You just don't do something like that without the permission. I just find it hard to believe. It just seems like LSU, the president, cool, they got caught out, or they just felt like, wow, we're really like the only ones. This is not gonna look good. I don't know, but it's kind of bizarre. They do a lot of stuff down here, down south, and particularly in places like Louisiana that are not in the best interest of people of color. And so something like this is another reason why some folks, and I think the NAACP is among them, are calling for black athletes to withdraw from these schools. Go to HBCUs or at least to a school. If you're gonna go to a PWI, then go to one that where they're not supporting this nonsense. And some might say, "Oh, it's easier said than done." No, not really. If they're gonna stifle you, and you know they're gonna stifle you and your people, and anybody who comes after you, with you, and after you, and you have other landing options, seems to me uh, you you want your freedom. And it's like in this era, there's some folks that are choosing to just hand over their freedom. I can't understand it. Can't understand it. And mm, Malcolm. It's too many of them house Negroes, Malcolm. It's too many of them. RG says, when will the NAACP call for the boycott for all Asian stores across America? You know, and we keep seeing this. The incident. I know you're referring to the latest incident, um, but it seems like the last, and it happens too often. Um, they did the whole stop Asian hate, but they have never done the opposite. And it seems like the last time there was uh, I'm not sure if I'm right on this, that there was any consequences. Remember the LA riots, and there was a Korean merchant. It was a situation with I believe a black woman. But what they do, they serve the neighborhoods, and yet uh, they're hostile toward the neighbors, racially hostile. and it's just putting it mild. So I'm not sure if the NAACP why they don't do anything, why they don't make any official statements, they don't come out with anything, uh, actionable, just not sure. It's like APAC. Is it an APAC situation where, you're in the they're in their pockets? Corrupt politicians, as they say. The Obama Center has, opened, and, it's drawing attention not only because it celebrates the nation's first Black president, but because it serves as a reminder of a political era that now feels increasingly in the too distant past. Some reporters are arguing that the center reflects the values that define Obama's rise to the White House: civic engagement, public service, coalition building, and the belief that political differences could be bridged through participation and dialogue. Remember when he was running against John McCain, and John McCain was at I believe, a town hall, and the lady was telling John McCain that, "Oh, Obama's no good. He's an Arab," and McCain, um, stopped her. No. We first of all, he's a good guy. We just have different political beliefs, but he's a really good guy. Imagine, imagine hearing that type of, dialogue today between political opponents. Yeah, 15 years old. But, the Obama Center opened on the South Side. It includes a museum, community spaces, athletic facilities, a public library branch, and the nation's first fully digital presidential library. And, it is and I'm noticing that many are talking about how, wow, that is the last time we had, um, that was the last era. That's ended an era, of politics that wasn't so doggone nasty. It was always in the mud, but it was nasty. It wasn't like I said, you had the one example that keeps coming to mind, one big example was that presidential race between Obama and McCain, and they only debated ideological differences. They only the political differences, really. Why I would do it this way, why you would do it that way, and why my way is more effective or would be more effective than your way. It wasn't you ugly son of a blah blah blah. It wasn't you, you know, black this or whatever. And people on the world scene respected it. But whether this is not so much about Obama as it is about the situation. Once he left office, it all changed. It all changed. Since he's been gone, politics has taken a turn where oftentimes this country feels like 1940 Mississippi. And that's not giving credit or blame to Barack Obama. It's just facts. It's just simple facts. Another death in the music world, Dexter Wenzel. Uh, He died at 75 years old yesterday, and what it does, his death really closes the chapter on one of the most influential architects of the Philadelphia sound, even if many listeners never knew his name. His fingerprints are all over modern music. Dexter helped create classics for artists such as Teddy Pendergrass. Remember, Love TKO? That was his baby. Patti LaBelle, Lou Rawls, the Jones Girls, and his own recordings and productions became a goldmine for generations of hip hop artists, long before sampling became a staple of rap music. Um, Dexter's futuristic keyboards, his arrangements, his grooves, they were laying the foundation for what producers would later build upon for decades. But if you don't know him by face, you know Dexter by his work. As we said, songs like Love TKO, Nights Over Egypt, for the Jones Girl, Life on Mars. What a legacy. For more than 40 years, this guy told out hits after hits after hits. What a catalog of music that this man has. So Dexter uh, Wenzel, and just a salute to him. So there's another story that's been going around, particularly social media, but certainly local media up there in the Atlanta region of Georgia are having a field day with this. I mean, it is the craziest thing with this judge and the police chief. Let's hear from Shula King on this because it's absolutely insane.
A lot here in these streets, man. Oh, they saying that, and that ATL federal judge was in her chambers with the chief of police, and they was in there mixing juices real loud. Real loud. That's what they saying. I'm not saying that it was true. I'm saying this is alleged. This is, I don't know who heard them. We don't have no audio, video. We ain't got none of that. This is just alleged. Okay. So I don't. I mean, y'all can talk about it, but it's like, bro, it's the chief of police and a judge. Ain't nobody getting in trouble. Who? I mean, who? The worst things have happened, and they done swept it under the rug. If you heard it, you heard it. If you heard it, bird is the word. How about that? Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you got to be. Come on, man, y'all, please. This is why. This is why you don't never go to work early, because you're gonna end up hearing something you ain't supposed to hear. Somebody showed up early, thought they were gonna bring the judge some coffee and donuts or whatever, you know what I mean? Try to kiss up to the judge, cause that's the home girl there, and you walked in on some smacking. Fit, fat, 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 blah, 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 blah. Mm. Yeah. Yep. It is what it is. When the gavel meets the baton. I'm not saying that it happened. I'm just saying, and 9 times out of 10, they both married.
Yep.
But I'm not saying that it happened. It's just alleged. We don't know what happened. You know what I mean? It's just rumors. Just people, somebody done started a nasty rumor. And y'all need to quit. They don't even look like they attracted to each other. When you see them, you know what I mean? Just let it go. Let that go.
Well, the Department of Justice is asking a judge this judge to recuse herself from the bench. They are looking into what is they're looking at actually not recuse herself, but to disqualify this judge. Eleanor Ross is her name. They sent a formal request seeking the disqualification from a from her sitting on the bench, and there is also a case that's going on that involves, of course, that involves the election. Yeah, it's just come on. It's uh, I tell you, the uh, the judge, the they were in chambers, as he said. I'm just trying to find the words because it's kind of funny, and they said that she hooked up. She's 58 years old. There's a report that says she's married and he's married, but that has not been confirmed. I don't know, but she hooked up with the police department's deputy chief, allegedly, Kelly Collier, at the courthouse. And now allegedly there is this uh, audio recording going around of what happened. She's been serving. She was appointed under Obama, and they said that what happened, it just usurps her power somehow. I don't know that it usurps her power. It does make uh, her colleagues and subordinates look at her a little strange, right? But I don't. They said that they're calling it a gross lack of judgment. They said that there was a 2-year affair going on between her and the chief, the deputy chief, and that wasn't the only time that they had relations in chambers. I, I just don't I just don't get why you would in such a place. Why? Um, she's a federal judge. He's a deputy chief. So there is got to be some change between the two of them. They got to have some coin. And well, so in other words, why not find yourself, as they say, get a room? They could have went to the Four Seasons type of money they made. So employees that worked in the judge's office told investigators that they could hear them through the walls in the hallway. That's how loud they were. They interviewed employees. It should be embarrassing enough, but they interviewed employees, and one clerk uh, said, and I quote, "It was some unsettling noises coming from the chambers, and you could tell they were kissing, and then they were playing music. Perhaps they were playing some Teddy P." And when asked why the public should care about the allegations, um, investigators said the American legal system depends on honesty and truthfulness. First of all, that's a lie. It used to depend on it. But I don't know that, other than stupidity, other should the judge, should the police chief, should they lose their jobs? I don't know. Now the whole American legal system depends on honesty and truthfulness. The whole honesty and truthfulness, if the judge is not honest and truthful, if she's having an extramarital affair, she's not honest or truthful. So I get that. So they're looking into disciplining her somehow. And the Atlanta Police Department released a statement saying that it has launched an investigation to determine whether the individual, because the official report does not identify them. However, it's well known who they are. And the Atlanta Police Department said that they are investigating to determine if the person is who the media says it is. They didn't say that they didn't say what they were going to do or what they could possibly do. So, um, I they need to, learn to keep these things to themselves, not in public. Not in public, but I guess it's too late for that. Much too late for that. Oh, gosh. Um, I guess we can have just a little humor before we leave, a little bit more humor, I should say. Um, Back out to the Sugar King for this because this is hilarious. Lady passes her driver's, test.
Spent. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say this woman finally passed her driver's test after 950 attempts and $14,000 spent. She finally got it. She finally got a license. Look here. I'm gonna need to know exactly where this woman is so I can not be there. If it take you 950. Now I will applaud this. I will applaud the consistency. I will applaud the attempts. I will applaud that. Hey, you kept going. You understand? But the saying says, if you fall down 9, get up 10. Now, if you done fail more than 10 times, then maybe this ain't your fight. Maybe you need to go somewhere and learn how to walk.
Right.
How many, like, I mean, damn. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this ain't what this ain't what I don't know if this is what you're supposed to be doing. 14,000 you done spent. You could have bought, like, you could have paid a driver, Uber. Just do that. We ain't got to, like. And the crazy part about it, now they got self-driving cars, ain't that?
I mean, that's a lot. 900 times. $14,000 later, you got your driver's license. It's like the prize in the Cracker Jack box. You're looking for a certain prize, and you bought a whole warehouse full of Cracker Jacks to try and get that prize that's worth 35 cents. It's unbelievable. Oh man, lots going on. We'll keep you informed. Thanks for tuning in to Let It Be Known.
Let's go! Let's go, Flav. Hey! Public enemy is coming through. Public enemy is coming through.